Kanji Anthony, well-known and highly rated evening news anchor of WMC, the NBC affiliate in Memphis, Tennessee, left her post suddenly in the spring of 2022. Want to know what she's doing now? Well, she's the CEO of the startup Udall, with Ty Standback and two of her own sisters. Get ready to hear more about this fascinating story. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Conversations with Hutch, and I'm so honored. I tell you, I'm beyond honored. Beyond honored is not even a word for it. I have Taiwo Standback and Kanji Anthony with me, and we're getting ready to have some wonderful conversation. Let me start with Taiwo. Taiwo, tell us about yourself, your background. I know you're a native Memphian, and tell us about, where you went to school and what happened after that, because you have a formidable resume that people need to know about.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you for this opportunity, Pastor Hutchinson. Known you for a while, but do great work in the community and helped for years when I worked for Congressman Cohen's office. But I am a native Memphian, born and raised in Bethel Grove, Orange Mound. My grandparents, my parents like to say that that's Melrose, and Orange Mound, Tennessee was the bridge that brought me over, that brought us over. So Bethel Grove, Orange Mound, then went to Ridgeway High School. And after Ridgeway, I went north to Yale University. So I went to Yale University. And after that, I actually worked for the current governor of Connecticut. So Ned Lamont, I worked on his Senate race back in 2006. And then after that, I slowly made my way back home, which I always wanted to do. I went to DC and I worked for Congressman Steve Cohen. And that was around the time of the financial collapse in 2008 is when I packed my bags and moved from Connecticut to DC. And then that was a good ride, working on Capitol Hill. But at a certain point, I mean, this literally, I'm not like, it's not a good soundbite. There were certain things when the stock market collapsed in 2008, it would keep me up at night. And one of the things was what would happen to Memphis if Federal Express failed. I worked there. I pushed boxes there in high school. Half the city works at FedEx in some way, right? Corporate or in the warehouse. So, same thing with my family. So it was a personal thing, but it was also a city. Kanji has a background in Memphis. I love it. So what would happen if Memphis had collapsed? And so eventually I worked behind the scenes on policy and for the people when I came back home and worked in Congressman Cohen's Memphis office. But I said, okay, what after this? And I had some friends out in Silicon Valley, really who were making a lot of money. That's what garnered my attention after working for $36,000 on Capitol Hill. But I just the nagging thing, what would happen if FedEx collapsed, failed? And what would we do? So then I started looking at jobs and jobs of the future and thinking about retooling. At that point, I actually transitioned to my own consulting business. But to pay those bills, I literally I worked for Instacart, this new startup that is so funny. My parents, we were watching TV and now they have commercials. Like when I worked for Instacart, it was nothing like it is today. It was back in 2013, 14. And I got into tech. And so I started off literally just delivering groceries, getting a check every week because that's what I needed. But then eventually I was able to move up in the company in the Washington, D.C. area. So D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. And I built out actually part of their operations program, myself and my colleagues. It was used as a test city. But anyway, so tech, what happens? And then I wanted to get out to California, prayed about it. I didn't want to do a traditional policy job. I didn't want to transition in that way. I didn't want to break into startups in that way. So I actually broke into it as a 30-something-year-old intern. I did a program at General Assembly, which was a boot camp in user experience, research, and design. So that was a way to get me closer to tech without being an engineer, without doing government. Anyway, so did that, intern at Adobe, in product management. And after Adobe, worked another couple of jobs, lived in a closet in San Francisco. again, do what you got to do. Retool, Ivy League doesn't matter. Work on Capitol Hill matters not to Silicon Valley, right?
Hmm.
So, so then I got the opportunity, again, thinking about the future of work, to work with Robbie Technologies. And there we built, that was the biggest chunk of time that I spent in California, Silicon Valley, between San Francisco and Palo Alto. We built self-driving delivery robots. So we literally did that up until, we can talk about that later, but so literally did that up until everything got shut down in March. And because one of our there's more to the story, but because of one of the co-founders was Chinese American, autonomous robots and deliveries on the sidewalk and contactless delivery as a concept is here in America. You know, FedEx has Roxy robots, but in China it's more adopted and they pay. So he packed the company up and went back home. We shipped robots over. I mean, that was the whole thing too, because we actually knew about the pandemic in 2019. But anyway, so he did that, and then I made the decision to come on back home because, you know, lockdown in Cali, might as well be with family. I wanted to come home anyways. It's just move that calendar up.
Yeah.
During that time, I think it's passed on to Conj. So during that time, Conj was telling me about some things she was working on. And, you know, yeah, I came home. My dad was sick too. So I wanted to come back to the Bluff City. So.
Well, we're glad you came back. And now let me pass it to Kanji. Now, Kanji, you also have an interesting background. Matter of fact, tell us about yourself. And before, as you do that, it's interesting. You're from New Rochelle, and I lived in New Rochelle from 82 to about 88. So I'm familiar with the landscape. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that you had been here. So I've been in New Rochelle. So that was just, I mean, what a connection. And I do want to thank you for inviting us. You are a very important part of the Memphis community. And I recall I'm a 28-year TV broadcast journalist before becoming a tech founder. And whenever the Memphis Association of Black Journalists called on you, you would offer your space and your church and your wisdom. And so I don't know if people know, behind the scenes, you were really trying to support and guide young African-American journalists in Memphis. And so it's something that is not the usual, you know, and anyway, I just wanted to thank you for doing that for our young people. And I want people to know about it. Yeah, but yes.
But go ahead.
No, it's true. So I was born, I was actually born in New York City. I lived my first 3 years in the Bronx. And then my parents.
Wait, pause. You must pause.
The boogie down?
A native of the boogie down, as is I. Praise the Lord. But go ahead. I'm so sorry, y'all. I had to do that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we lived there, and then my dad moved us to New Rochelle, New York. Myself and my mom and my 3 sisters. So there were 4 girls. And then I started doing TV broadcasting in high school. We had a TV show called Views from the Bridge in New Rochelle High School. And then I got into communications at Howard University in Washington, D.C. And then after that, I came home. I was working for the family business for about 1.5 years. And I just said, you know, broadcasting is what I like. I wanted to write, though. I wanted to be the writer behind the scenes. So then I said, I love you, family, but I'm going to have to go and be a writer. So I got a job at the CBS, the WCBS, the local TV news station in New York City. Mm-hmm. And I worked there. And then I wanted to write, but then my coworkers, I was the overnight girl, midnight to 8 a.m. Yes. And so they convinced me to run the teleprompter so that they could record their reels. And then one of them said, you know, because at night no one's there, so they could, you know. So then they were like, one of them said, you need to do yours. And I was just like, what? You know, so I put on some red lipstick and a red blazer and recorded some stuff. And then one of them brought that reel to a a news director, and then I got hired. I was a reporter, photographer, camera person. So I did everything. I'd be out there in, frostbitten temperatures, recording myself, and then went to, I zigzagged across the country, every time zone except Mountain Time, from California to North Carolina, and then Memphis called. And so the funny thing was, the first time I put my reel out, though, Memphis was the first city to call. So that was interesting. But I came to Memphis, and I expected to be here 2 years. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to New York. And, my mom is from Lorman, Mississippi. She went to Alcorn State. She was a majorette.
Okay.
So I have roots here. And I thought I was going to be here 2 years. Well, it is now going on like 18 years. And I never looked back. This has just been, this is a place where I really found myself. So Memphis has just been such a great ride.
And let me pause for the viewers. Be clear, she was one of the formidable evening anchors here in this city. Was either number one or number two in the market for the whole time she was here. And her and Joe Birch made a marvelous tandem. And so the city was shocked when she said, I'm going to step down. Because really, in this market, you're really still in your prime. We're in your prime. You could have been anchor at that station for probably another 15, 20 years if you had so decided. So people were shocked when you said, I think I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, that was a big decision. I thought about it for about 9 months, started saving up money because I was like, yep. Okay, so basically when the pandemic hit, my sister in New Rochelle called me to tell me that all the shelves were empty. And I was like, what? So I sent her a care package, and then I created this Facebook group, because I said, what this is going to do to Memphis is devastating. Because we have, 27% poverty. I was just thinking of what COVID was going to mean for us, and that we needed to help each other. So in this Facebook group, we would post what we call shelfies, photos of products on shelves, and say, hey, there are 7 cans of Lysol here, or 7 or spray here, disinfectant. And everybody started helping each other. And it went from 0 to 34,000 people today. And it's people switched from pandemic products, and now we just help each other make informed decisions about our purchases. So we say that UTIL is what it's called. Our we started a company out of it, and we say that we make it easy to locate hard to find products. And so now Ty, with her Silicon Valley background and my 28-year social media background, we are building a platform so that people can help people make their homes run happier, smoother, and more efficiently.
That is powerful. But now let me go to Ty real quick. How did you meet Kanji? Well, first of all, I know just about everybody in Memphis knows Kanji. So that's kind of one of those questions like, how did you get to take a picture with Penny Hardaway? Everybody has a Penny picture, for those of you outside of Memphis. But now, how did you all meet, and how did you all connect in terms of this UTIL concept?
Okay, yeah. So I was going to say, yes, thank God that your mom went to Alcorn and was from Mississippi, because Memphis got you. So because of media and because of Congressman Cohen's office, right? So we actually were at the same table at a banquet at an event. 2013, 2014, if I'm not mistaken. So we were actually just working. I don't think we had ever met before, but we were just working. And honestly, we didn't really, she used to do politics, right? We didn't talk about politics. We didn't talk about, Channel 5. We didn't talk about Congressman Cohen. We were talking about the food. We were just talking like real people. And it's a conversation that we were talking like old friends who knew each other. And it's a conversation that is continued to this day. Like when we get on the phone, we just talk and talk and talk, right? Real friends. So So yeah, so it really happened at that banquet. And actually I was going out of town and she was going out of town. And then ironically, we were both going to California. We didn't see each other, but it's just so much of our paths and our paths crossed, right? And so we were, how did you like to say, fast friends? So we were fast friends from then up until now. So of course, during the pandemic, we talked, right? Because I was still in California. I'm like, oh, y'all gonna need that card. Like I'm hearing, essential worker, you're doing essential worker. My sister Lil's at FedEx. I'm like, y'all gotta be, so we talked about the pandemic as friends. And eventually she's like, she's like, what is a viral group? Like, can a Facebook group go viral? And she's like, come look at this. And like, this happened with my sister and I carried this group and now all these people in this group. And I'm like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But for me, when it was pandemic product signs, we didn't need anything. My family was covered. So I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. This is a lot of people. But I said, Conch, we were walking, I think, over to Parker. So I said, this is data. I'm like, this is a thing and this is data. And definitely your heart is there and like you're helping people. But to move one step forward, let's help people and make something out of this. So yeah, they had it as a company, and then Retool renamed, and I joined the Anthony Sisters in official business, from product sightings to Udall, and it's a business, no longer a Facebook group, and we are the co-founders of a Memphis-made technology software company, platform as a service. And we're so humbled and grateful to have made it in Memphis with the help of Memphians, really.
Well, let me say this, and then I want to just have all free for all, everybody just join this. You won recently the Rising Star Award from the Tennessee Small Business Development Center. And so this is making a splash. So now describe Udall in your own words. I know you've already started talking about it in the midst of our conversation, but tell the audience what Udall specifically is and what it's going to be designed to do. And then just kind of tell us, has it opened up yet? Or are you still just testing it in Memphis? Or are you ready for the rollout yet? I know we cut it short, but check out this next clip. It'll help you to better understand Udall.
Hi, I'm Kanji Anthony, the CEO of Udall. I'm a certified online community builder, and I have 30 years of TV news anchoring experience.
I'm Janita Anthony, the Chief Operating Officer. I'm a business strategy and growth expert with over 20 years of entrepreneurial experience. I'm Goldman Sachs 10K Small Business Alum and the Money Girl.
My name is Aurora Anthony, and I'm the Chief Experience Officer. I have close to 30 years in inventory, shipping, and supply chain management, and I've been dealing with major manufacturers in the metro area of New York City.
I'm Ty Steenbeck, the Chief Product Officer. I have years experience in being based in Silicon Valley, everywhere from Instacart to Adobe and Robbie Technology. I have skills and expertise in product development, testing, and user experience.
Shoppers struggle to find products that are in stock. Udall makes it easy.
The good thing about this is that there's a social aspect so that people can make informed decisions.
This also promotes local shopping.
Thank you so much for letting us tell you about Udall.
Yes, I know we cut it short, but stay tuned for part 2 of this interview. And while you do that, the better know when it's getting ready to hit subscribe. And also hit like and let your friends know what we're doing. See you soon.